Welcome back in. Hour number 2, McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. We will continue looking at some of these SEC team chances to get into the college football playoff. Maybe the biggest obstacle, the underrated obstacles that lie ahead. 800-239-9569 if you want to get in. You can also tweet into the show at Mac and Cube if you want to be a part there. Chris Smith tweeting in. I think Oklahoma-Tennessee this weekend is likely a playoff elimination game. I also think Texas is on the ropes versus Vandy. Listen, I don't think anybody in here thinks – I'd love to have a conversation with anybody who thinks it's going to be a comfortable game for Texas. I don't know how someone can think that other than the logos. That's it. It's the only thing that you should look at and
That'd
say,
be it.
What else would it be?
Right.
There's not an aspect of these teams that you should look at and say, Vandy has no advantages, or there's no way Vandy can be competitive in this game. It's just not real. I'm not falling for that one. Don't know anybody else that would.
There's no way nobody listening to our show over the last several weeks can sit there and say, oh, yeah, Texas by 100. There's no way anybody would come to that conclusion if they listened to us. We have the utmost respect for Vandy and the challenges that come with playing against them every single week.
JD tweets in, got a seat to believe it for my Vols. They haven't won in Gainesville since 2003. Florida will absolutely be motivated to derail the Vols' playoff hopes. That one concerns me. I'm with JD, man. I think that's Tennessee's most difficult test remaining. Because you can say the Vanderbilt game, but they got to play Florida the week before on the road. And if you're the Florida staff, yes, you don't know what lies ahead, big picture, but what better way to motivate your team than to say, you can keep Tennessee out of the playoff. And then again, the contrast in styles. I like the Tennessee defensive line. I think they're great. But if the stretch play gets going and if they can create some of the bootlegs and misdirection off of that, this is a team that can chew clock. And Tennessee needs possessions to win. It's just the reality of it. They need possessions to win the game. And there are a couple of defensive linemen that I think Florida has that can be problematic. So, therefore, I think you look at it as how that game could go, what that game could end up being. Don't like it for Tennessee right there. I don't like where it is on the schedule. I don't like the contrast and style nature of it. And I really don't like the fact that the next weekend, if both teams handle business, Tennessee and Vanderbilt could be a first-round playoff game. A minus first-round playoff. What would that be called? Because we already have semifinals and quarterfinals. A pre-playoff game.
Opening round.
Yeah.
Pre-playoff.
Play-in game.
Love that. Do you feel, just curious, do you feel really confident in Tennessee? I feel like you're a lot more confident than I am. I think they're good, but I don't know. I'm not like as sold, I feel like, as you are.
No, I'm confident in aspects of Tennessee. I'm confident in the offensive line. I'm confident in the running backs. I'm confident in the quarterback. I'm confident in the receivers. The style of play can still get you in trouble. And that's just, it's always going to be that way. Also, keep in mind last week, you had technically 2 starters out, one in the secondary, one at linebacker. Your leading tackler was out on defense. So that's a big hit. Aaron Carter didn't play.
Yes.
So that's a big loss, both leadership, both productivity. I'm going to give you a little benefit of the doubt for that one. Am I concerned about the secondary? Yes. Which, once again, is if Florida were to get the run game going there, you're potentially getting Dallas Wilson one-on-one 10, 12 times a game with a chance to throw him the ball down the field. I like Florida's chances there.
Well, you're skipping the fact that they still have Oklahoma this week. Like Tennessee, I think that's where their biggest challenge lies. Is not so much with Florida, because I do think Florida has weapons, but I think Florida will allow a lot of negative plays. I think Oklahoma will just come out and start slinging all over the yard the whole game. And with a walk-on and a potential true freshman corner, I don't care what the circumstances are. That's asking a lot, man. Like, that is asking a whole lot. So I just wonder if at this point, is Tennessee just a little bit too banged up to knock off a team that is going to play good, solid defense. And by the way, you're sold on Tennessee's offensive line. I think they're good in the run game. I don't know about the pass game. I think in the protection, they haven't seen a guy like R. Mason Thomas yet, in my opinion. I think that guy is the real deal. And I know you love him too. He's big time. So if for whatever reason the running game's not going real well, I think this pass rush for Oklahoma can be a huge issue. Taylor Wine on one side, R. Mason Thomas on the other. You get whatever's left of Marvin Jones there as well. You also have some linebackers that'll hit you. Like, I just think this pass rush could overwhelm Tennessee. Because I think Tennessee's a solid offensive line, but I saw some vulnerabilities against Alabama that can't be unseen. It would be something that is a little concerning for me.
I'd probably be okay with that, and I'd be there with you. I think Yanze Pierre was coming on for Alabama when they faced him. I do think you have a little bit of twitch off the edge, and specifically when different linebackers walk up for Mississippi State. Georgia doesn't give you as much as Oklahoma's going to give you. The hard part might be is just you haven't seen the movement that you're going to get this week. Mississippi State, probably the closest thing from an assignment standpoint that you're going to get to what this Oklahoma defense is probably going to give you. And I need to start saying probably because we do have that one outlier where they decided not to move and just didn't do it. So I maybe with the downfield prowess that Tennessee has, for some reason it backs off this week. I don't anticipate it will. It shouldn't. But we have seen that at one point, so therefore I think you got to be careful with it. But I think that's the biggest problem for Tennessee. When you look ahead for Alabama, what is your biggest concern with Alabama? Because you're saying a lot of nice things about Oklahoma, and they're on that schedule. Is that the biggest concern for you there for the Crimson Tide?
Yes. I think that's the toughest game remaining. You have a dynamic quarterback that if he gets hot again, which he hasn't, he's played hero ball. He hasn't played great football the last 3 weeks. I think he's trying to do too much. They got to settle him down. I think that's the toughest game left on the schedule. I know it's at home. I know things look good for him. But that, to me, if they decide to run John Mateer 20 times, that could be challenging. So I think Oklahoma's a tough game. They're just a tough matchup for everybody. I think Oklahoma's better than you think Oklahoma is. But then again, I can understand why you have hesitation given where you see the game and how you analyze the game through the offensive line. I can understand why you are a little apprehensive about it.
Well, here's what concerns me. It's not that I don't like the team. Like, what are you leaning on? You're leaning on disruption via movement when you technically don't have to because they have numerous players up front that can cause problems on their own. However, it has been proven you are better when you do. That's just they're better when they play that way. We talked going into last week. Don't really know what the secondary is, and it didn't look great last week. So
nope.
that to me is a problem. And then offensively, I think. I'm not trying to downplay any real facet of it, and I don't mean this to take away from their players, but they're backyard ball.
Heck no.
They are literal backyard ball on offense right now. Like what is their foundation offensively? So if they get into a fist fight or a fight in a telephone booth or a back alley brawl, however you want to discuss it, and things just aren't going a certain way, there's no rhyme, reason, there's no rhythm. Like what do they lean on? They lean on their quarterback running around and chucking it. So,
which by the way is hard to defend. You can deny it all you want. It's still pretty hard to defend.
He's pretty good at it. That cannot be denied. But on the flip side of that, it's kind of, all right, like what's the baseline of why you're good? And it's not very high percentage. And that's why I lose a little bit of confidence. And I think if you have any ability to get after people up front, and Tennessee does, and Alabama does, and is beginning to have more of it, I just find it really hard to think that Oklahoma consistently is going to be able to move the football. And I think the only reason they move the football against Ole Miss is they have a real problem in the secondary at one spot, and that game went kind of track meet mode because Ole Miss does not have the guys up front to allow Kewan Lacey to get going. I think Kewan Lacey was a massive reason they won that game because he was able to grind out a few yards. He was good in pass protection. He caught a couple big balls. But, I think I like Tennessee's run game more than the Ole Miss run game. If you're putting your house on it, which run game are you taking right now, Alabama or Tennessee?
Tennessee.
So I think that's why I have some of the confidence against Oklahoma this week is where I know Tennessee can lean, and that has nothing to do with those other teams really and truly, but it's just where I know they can lean and where I know Oklahoma can or cannot lean. And in a game, not to mention, I think Neyland's going to be pretty raucous this weekend. That place is going to be going. I don't buy into the whole, so much more to Josh. Josh ain't playing. So, what does he have, like a grab bag of trick plays that he's been holding for Oklahoma in his office? Like, does Josh walk in and go, hey, guys, Oklahoma plays this week. Who's ready? That's not a real thing. Like, he doesn't coach harder because it's Oklahoma. So,
no.
Like, is he watching 11 more hours of film? I don't believe so.
I think that's one of the more hilarious kind of conversations. I'm not saying it doesn't mean more, but it also doesn't mean he's changing what he does or his approach. I think it's hilarious how people try to draw that connection.
Well, the whole league means more. We know that. We've been told that. So it just means
Can
more.
confirm.
But yes, absolutely. So when you look at Ole Miss the rest of the way through, South Carolina, Citadel, Florida, week off before Mississippi State, on the road Black Friday, but the Friday part doesn't really matter because you got a week off before it. Where is their biggest obstacle?
I go back and forth. Would you say rivalry week?
It's hard because you have that extra time.
That's the thing.
You're going to have a little extra time for Florida, even though the kids won't know it when you're playing Citadel. You're probably not going to play your D tackle. You're not playing your D tackles, 75 snaps in that game.
Right.
Keywan Lacey probably not getting 35 carries in that game, so you should get a little extra
probably
break.
Don't need them.
Yep, we're going to get a little extra break in that game.
Hopefully not. And again, we thought you get a little extra break against Washington State. That didn't work out so well. So let's not jump to conclusions. But in reality, I still think it's on the road. I think on the road, knowing you got to have it because it just puts a lot of pressure. There'll probably be rumors swirling about Lane Kiffin's future and things like that. I mean, I could just see a team in that situation playing against a team in Mississippi State. The Super Bowl is on the line. Maybe a bowl game's on the line. I think that's the toughest game.
So for Mississippi State, you'll have Georgia at Mizzou and then the week off. So they would have to get one more before that, correct?
Yes. But they have Arkansas this week too.
Fair. So that could be the one that they get. And then you're right. It could be a bowl game on the line. They also have a week off before that game. If there's one thing that I have seen that has been proven, Levy's group's going to be motivated. I don't care how late in the year it is. I don't care what the record is. Like, they're going to play hard. And I would probably lean with you that Egg Bowl is the toughest test left for Ole Miss. And I know exactly what I know exactly.
I thought you were going to go Florida.
No, I know exactly what national people are going to say up to that right there. How can you view Ole Miss as a one of these power brokers heading to the playoffs when their toughest remaining test is a 4-win Mississippi State team? But
no, it's a
you have to look
game.
a little deeper into that. Yeah, I'm just telling you what I think the national narrative would be. If there are certain podcasts you're listening to or certain people that are typing their tweets, they would say that is their most difficult test in the last quarter of the season, and we're saying that they're a bona fide playoff contender. But I don't think Florida's going to be easy for them, by the way. But with the way Eccles is playing, Xavier Harris is playing, like I have more confidence in that D-line than I thought I would at the beginning of the year. So,
but my fear is snap exposure when it comes to that defensive line. It's not their first 40 snaps. It's their second 40 snaps in the event in which they're playing an offense that can snap it 80 times in the game, like Georgia did, by the way. Like, that group falls off because they don't rotate very much. So to me, that's the biggest challenge as it relates to Ole Miss, is against a tempo team that can keep you on the field, that can kind of wear you out. That's my fear. And that's why I think the matchup against Mississippi State is slightly more difficult than the matchup against Florida, because Florida might only snap it 60 times a game. But then again, we don't know what Florida's going to look like now that Russ Callaway's calling the plays.
All right,
Does he get back to his roots?
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. I mean, they will.
It has to be.
Not just the sequencing, but I think timing of play calls, which is something that I did question a little bit with Billy this year, I think could be different and maybe even more responsible. So we'll see if that actually takes place. Let's do this quickly, though. For Georgia, because we haven't really mentioned the rest of the road for them. What is the most difficult task left for the Bulldogs with Florida, neutral site this weekend, at Mississippi State, Texas at home, Charlotte, and then at Georgia Tech? Sort of.
I think this is the toughest week. But I'm telling you, I feel like that road trip to Starkville at noon is dicey.
Especially after this one.
Yes.
The problem may be is if Mississippi State wins this weekend. Like, do they exhale
Yeah, you're right.
next week? I mean, that's
right.
It's natural. It's human nature. I'm going to go Georgia Tech, man. And I know that doesn't affect either of those teams' chances to get into their conference championship games, which at that point in time may not even be necessary for either.
Right.
And maybe I'm just fresh off, reading the article at ESPN.com about Haynes King going to A&M to watch a game while he's been urinating blood for the last couple of days. Like, I just feel like Haynes King will die to win that game, literally. So, and they've been so close. They've been so close.
They have. But to beat Georgia, you got to throw it. And I do think that Georgia Tech is a better passing team than a lot of people probably realize, but that's still not their bread and butter. That's still not their strength.
No.
So that's where I struggle just a hair. There is can they throw it to win it? I think they have a better chance of doing that now than maybe ever before, but I'm still not super optimistic about them being able to turn into, hey, Johnny drop back and start throwing all over the yard. Path of least resistance against Georgia is still through the air.
Yeah. Bama threw for 280 and beat Georgia. Tennessee almost beat them, threw for 371. Ole Miss was competitive, threw for 263. They've given up 129, 151, 225, and 137 in the others. I guess you could say Auburn was competitive, 137, but, I mean, was it competitive in the end? I mean, Greg, you said this. You've kind of read between the lines of how Georgia or teams had called plays against Auburn heading into that Arkansas game prior, and that it may have been a little more vanilla than a lot of people wanted to admit.
Well, what I would say is that in assessing everything as it relates to Georgia and their offense, I think Georgia's offense is super dynamic. And I know that other people are only going to look at Georgia through the prism of, well, it's Kirby Smart. They're elite on defense. I don't think they're elite on defense. I think they're pretty average on defense, if you want me to be honest. I think they're dang good on offense. And that's where it gets interesting. You referenced the Auburn situation. Like, against Auburn, man, I think Auburn's defensive numbers are very much inflated. Because why would you do anything too risky? You wouldn't. Because, honestly, I think that a lot of people are probably looking at Auburn's offense like, all right, we can hold them under 21. What we can't do is turn it over. We got to be smart. We can't, under any circumstance, give them the ball in our territory because, frankly, them driving the length of the field, not optimistic they can do it. Now, maybe that'll change with Ashton Daniels if he is back the guy, but I think teams alter their identity a little bit when going against Auburn.
It's fair. I mean, Missouri put up 343. A&M put up 414, but, I mean, you've been under 350 with everybody else after the Baylor game. So even if teams are shutting it down, they've gone against some really good offenses that haven't been able to get to full speed, or maybe even by choice, we're not able to get there. Oklahoma at 303, Georgia at 296, Missouri 343, Arkansas 331. That's nowhere close to what those teams are averaging. But, as you stated, the nature of how that game was going, the flow of it, how they called it, all had something to do with it. All right, we'll get to a break. Come back.
Yeah.
We got Rubik's Cubelic for you next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. 8:22 a.m. Thursday, October 30th. Going to continue on and get to the Rubix Cubelic here in just a moment. Before we do that, are you nervous about your Los Angeles Dodgers?
I've already given up.
Given up?
Literally, I don't feel confident at all. No, not even the tiniest bit confident.
So
I wish I did.
Throwing in the towel. You're done.
I'm pretty close to being done, yep.
Okay.
You disagree?
No, Toronto has a 3-2 series lead going back home. And feels like they have a little bit of that staff figured out. Got just a gem of a performance last night. And no, I would say easily I think Toronto pulls this thing out. But if LA evens it up with what they have at their disposal in Game 7, even if it's only to go a couple innings here and there, you might think that LA has the advantage, but it is a Game 7 at Sky Dome / Rogers Center. But either way, I just kind of hope we get a Game 7 because I love Game 7s in professional sports, and especially in the World Series. I think it'd be great. Yeah. Before we move to the Rubik's Cubelic, tell our listeners about Crocker Moving Services.
Well, they're a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys. You can trust them in your home. They need your whole home packed up and move. Your company headquarters moved across country, or you just want them to come rearrange your living room. These guys got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you've purchased and need to get to your home. So call or visit them online today for a free quote. The website is CrockerMovingServices.com. That's CrockerMovingServices.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Services for your next move.
All right. The algorithm has been reset. Not a great showing last week, but that's why we alter this thing, and that's why we make people work overtime there on Redstone Arsenal. When things don't go well, you get back to work. Rubix Cubelic is a computer formula generated by our employees and our friends to pick college football winners occasionally. Let's start in the Big Ten, Bear. Penn State is at Ohio State. Plug it in.
Major input. Input. Woo!
All done.
Come on.
Games at the shoe, advantage Ohio State. 170 on the ground for Penn State. 152 for Ohio State.
Hey.
Whoa.
Now, Penn State allows 159 rushing yards per game.
Well,
That's
okay.
it?
Not necessarily ideal.
That's it. That's all.
Just $150.
Didn't need to fire Franklin for that.
No, Ohio State allows 86. No. That's third in the Big Ten and eighth in the nation, advantage Buckeyes. Right. +5 for Ohio State, the turnovers, +2 for Penn State, advantage Ohio State. Now, Ohio State, 32 flags for 264 yards this year.
Okay.
Trust me, you're going to hear some that are more than double that.
So they're disciplined.
Oh, boy.
But it's not Penn State, who has 27 flags on the season for 219 yards.
Wow.
Is there such thing as like sorrow officiating? Where you just feel sorry for a team and you're like, don't even waste your time. It's okay. Like, just
don't even throw it. Don't bother. That there has to be.
They are tied fourth for the fewest penalty flags on the year. Only Kansas State, Army, and Iowa have fewer penalties on the year. By the way, Iowa has 19 flags all year.
Well, they probably had 19 possessions all year.
We got a couple of teams that have passed that in 2 games. Just saying.
Okay.
All right, Penn State small advantage there. They convert 40% on third down.
It's decent.
It's not bad.
Not great. What is that? Like 70th?
It's down there.
That's about average.
Ohio State converts 53%. That's top 10 in college football. It's going to be advantage for the Buckeyes. Penn State also allows opponents to convert 40% of their third downs. Ohio State allows opponents to convert on 21% of their third downs. That is number 1 in all of college football. That is advantage Buckeyes. That is Ohio State +2.5 per the Rubik's Cubelic. Don't blame me. These are computers that tell you this stuff. I don't do this. I thought that would be a fun one to plug in. Apparently it wasn't.
I mean, honestly, it might be a little closer. I mean, the line's 3 touchdowns, so maybe it's a little closer than the experts think. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, the computers actually do not believe that. They think
Well,
that will
I'm
be
just
a
saying.
cozy win there for
Comfy.
Ohio State. All right, Vandy at Texas. Saber, plug that one in.
Rubix Cubelic.
Rubik's
Cubelic. Rubix Cubelic.
Games in Austin, advantage Horns. Texas runs for 139 a game. Vandy 203. Now, Vandy allows 102 a game on the ground. It's not bad.
No, not at all.
Texas allows 81. It's first in the
Seymour.
SEC. Bet you didn't know that. Bet you didn't know the number one rush defense
Second
in
in
the
college
SEC was
football.
Texas. Here is an outlier, though. I will throw one at you. Which of those two teams do you believe has allowed fewer rushing touchdowns this season?
I didn't know that was factoring in.
Oh, it's just a sidebar factoid.
I'm gonna say Vandy.
Ah.
It's like we carry the 2 on that one. I'll just tell you that.
Vandy.
It is Vanderbilt. They've allowed 3 rushing touchdowns
Let's
all
go.
season. Texas has allowed 5.
That's crazy.
So that doesn't factor in here. We don't. The scientists did not add that one, so we won't worry about it. Texas +7 in the turnovers. Vandy +4. That's advantage Horns. Now Vandy 56 flags for 256 yards this season.
That seems like a lot.
I'm sorry, for 526 yards. Well, when you compare that to Penn State's 27 flags, it is.
It's a ton.
How would you say it compares to Texas's 64 flags for 525 yards?
Oh, well, it's not as bad.
Now, that's actually offset, even though Texas has 64 flags and Vandy has 56, because Vandy has 1 more penalty yard than Texas. So that's a push.
Okay. The old half the distance of the goal.
Texas converts 38% on third down. 38.
That's a little surprising.
On offense.
Yeah, that's not third down defense. No, it actually wouldn't be terrible third down defense, I guess. But no, that's
No,
on
it'd be great
offense.
on defense.
That's disgusting.
It's really bad, actually. Yeah, it's actually really bad. And what's really good is Vanderbilt converting 53% on third down, which is second in the SEC.
Figured.
Advantage Vandy.
Oh, boy.
Would you like to take a guess who leads the SEC in third down conversions? You will not get it.
Ole Miss.
No.
South Carolina.
No.
Arkansas.
is right. He cheated and looked.
No, I didn't. I'm a field guy.
It wasn't convincing.
Damn field guy.
No, I saw it on the notes the other day.
Now, Vandy does allow 37% to be converted on third down. Texas, 32%. So that's a slight lean Texas. The computers, Rubix Cubelic likes Texas plus 1.5. Not me.
Okay.
The Rubix. The Rubix says that.
Okay.
All right,
Rube
Oklahoma,
Cube.
Oklahoma, Tennessee. John, plug that one in.
Major input. Input. Woo!
All done.
Game on Rocky Top, advantage Vols. Oklahoma runs for 130 a game. Tennessee 189 a game. Oklahoma allows 85 rushing yards per game. Tennessee allows 135. That's advantage Boomer. Tennessee +4 in the turnovers.
That's where you want to be.
Oklahoma -6.
So that's a double up.
That is not good for the Sooners.
It's not.
52 flags for 464 yards for Oklahoma. 60 for 502 for Tennessee.
Seems like a lot.
We're seeing a trend here.
Seems like a lot.
When we went from the Big Ten to the SEC. Just a small trend there.
It just means
A few more plays.
Small
Yeah,
advantage,
few more plays.
Oklahoma there. Now, Oklahoma converts 42% on third down. Too bad Tennessee's at 48. Tennessee allows 39% on third down.
Okay.
it's
It's
reasonable.
not bad. Oklahoma allows 28%.
That's great.
It's really good. That is good enough for 7th in college football. And by a margin of just +1, the Rubik's Cubelic likes Tennessee at home. Maybe closer than we thought, closer
Okay.
than I thought, not closer than Greg thought, closer than some other people thought. All right, let's go outside the SEC one more time, Saber. Cincy at Utah. Probably an underrated game this weekend for a lot of people that hadn't paid attention to it. Plug that one in.
Rubix Cubelic.
Rubik's
Cubelic. Rubix Cubelic.
In a ranked matchup, we get Cincy at Utah. There's only 2 this weekend, I believe, ranked matchups. Number 17, Cincinnati at number 24, Utah. 9:15 on ESPN Saturday night.
Oh, yeah.
Rice Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City there. Cincy at 7-1, Utah at 6-2. So game at Utah, advantage Utes. Cincy 193 a game on the ground.
That's great.
It's not as good as 267 a game on the ground.
Excuse me?
No.
267 rushing yards per game for Utah. That is obviously first in the Big 12. There are only service academies ahead of
Makes
Utah
sense.
as
Makes
far as rushing yards per game.
Makes sense.
3 of them.
They went for
Navy, Air Force, and
422
Gotcha.
last time out.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's a pretty good day on the ground if you can get it, if you can
Pretty
find
good.
those yards. Cincy allows 142. Utah allows 136 on the ground. That's advantage Utah. Utah is even in the turnover. Cincy is +3. That's advantage Bearcats. Now, Utah, not great in the turnovers. 51 for 435 on the year. That's SEC teamish right in there.
That is.
Say SEC teamish.
A little bit.
Feels like it.
And a good SEC team. Like
Yeah,
that's,
actually, yeah, it's actually
reasonable.
actually reasonable for an SEC team in there. Unfortunately, Cincinnati rolls in with 60 flags on the season for 572 penalty yards.
Atta baby.
That's SEC teamish too.
That's Vandy level.
I mean, they average a big-time explosive play in penalty yards per game, 71.5 yards. They are 129th in the nation in penalties.
That's not good.
Needless to say, that's advantage Utah. Can it be an advantage when you have 51 flags for 431 yards? I don't know, but I guess it is. Cincinnati converts 43% on third down. We're seeing a trend with some of these teams here. That's bad
Sounds
news
like it.
because the number 1 third down offense in the Big 12 belongs to Utah at 54% converted this year. That's number 3 in the nation.
That's ideal.
35% allowed by Cincinnati, 30 allowed by Utah. That's second in the Big 12 by a margin of +4. The Rubix Cubelic likes Utah to roll the Bearcats this
Okay.
weekend.
Cincinnati doesn't even get off the plane.
Maybe a team that does the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky at Auburn. Say, Bear, let's finally plug that in for our last game of the Rubik's Cubelic today.
Major input. Input, input, input. Woo!
All done.
I have a feeling this is going to be bad.
Oh, you never know.
Why?
With the way some of these numbers have
It's
looked today,
Kentucky.
who knows?
Yeah.
Jordan Hare Stadium, advantage Auburn. Kentucky runs for 154 a game. Auburn runs for 171 a game.
Okay.
Kentucky allows 132 rushing yards per game.
Okay.
Okay.
I know Auburn is less than that.
It's significantly
Yeah,
less.
let's go.
At 84 per game.
Let's
They
go.
are 5th in college football in rush defense.
Okay.
Advantage Auburn. Auburn +7 in the turnovers.
Slight.
Pretty
That's
good.
amazing.
Well, when you run one of the lowest risk offenses in college football
Stop.
outside of the service academies,
Stop.
it's good that your defense has gotten some, but
Oh,
Kentucky is -5, by the way.
for
Feels
some
like a
reason, I thought it would be
triple
worse. Like, I mean, it's bad, but I thought it would be worse.
Speaking of worse,
How could it get any worse than that?
It just feels. It
It's
just feels-
not one a game, Greg. That's how.
speaking of worse,
Oh boy, third down.
Kentucky has 40 flags for 323 yards this year. That's 3rd in the SEC.
Okay.
Y'all thought Cincinnati was bad.
Oh boy.
With 63 flags for 523 yards on the season, Auburn will not have an advantage in that department this weekend. They are currently 114th in college football in penalty yards per game. Advantage Cats. Kentucky converts 40% on third down. Auburn 35%. Advantage Cats.
That's offense.
It is.
Oh.
Because they allow more on defense, 42% allowed by the Kentucky defense.
Oh boy.
Auburn allows opponents to convert on 32% defensively, which is pretty good. By a margin of +3, the Rubik's Cubelic likes Auburn in a fairly comfortable win this weekend.
Okay.
What is the line in that game?
I saw it at 11.5.
You need to watch it.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it. I just was curious what the line was.
11.5.
Analysis can be next level.
It's the second biggest this weekend in the conference.
I don't know why you had to throw that out.
What's the biggest?
Ole Miss, South Carolina.
I think it's
Ole Miss is 12.5-point favorite against South Carolina, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Figures.
I mean, Georgia's 7.5-point favorite
In the Florida Georgia line game?
in that one. Yeah.
Easy.
All right, so your Rubik's Cubelic winners: Texas plus 1.5, Tennessee plus 1, Utah plus 4, Ohio State plus 2.5, Auburn plus 3. Now listen, don't blame us. The computers are telling you that. So do what you will with that
Correct.
information. The botanists had to work hard this week to reprogram some things. and
Winter's
get us back
coming.
on
Yeah,
schedule.
they had to be in the cold.
Oh, boy.
Exactly.
Oh, boy.
We had rheumatologists working on that thing this weekend, trying to ease some of the pain of last week's record. We'll be back with more next on Jocks. An interesting tweet into the show from Jolly, one of our loyal listeners, at JollyR1965. He tweets in, when you throw those Auburn stats, the defensive stats particularly, could Auburn be as simple as Freeze getting someone who has offensive pedigree and just fixing that, and it's a completely different product? How would you respond to that, Greg?
I am not on board with, the head coach is absolutely the problem at Auburn. I am 100% supportive of that. I think it's more about execution. And I think the quarterback has left a little to be desired this year, as we have documented throughout the season. There have been guys open, and there have been misses, and they've had close calls. But I think ultimately, to justify making adjustments to your head coaching spot, I I just don't see it as the right year to do it. I think the team has made progress. I think it's a talented roster, and I remain optimistic about what Auburn can do this season and beyond with Hugh Freeze at the helm. I really believe that.
All right. I would ask this question in response to that. Let's run through the laundry list of offensive-minded head coaches that have given up play calling to bring in another offensive mind to run their scheme, system, whatever that is. Okay? Mike Norvell.
Oh, boy.
Gus Malzahn 37 times. Anybody else? I'll wait. The offensive-minded coach who thought he has at the end of his run calling plays that brought in a different person to call plays for him and not run his offense completely. I'll wait. Anyone?
About all I know.
800-239-9569 if you have one. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple others out there. But I do think my point has been made that not a lot of guys are going that route. I can give you one that decided not to do it that got fired this year.
No.
Billy Napier? I mean, I'm not wrong.
How much of that, though, had to do with where Billy Napier is from an offensive identity standpoint? Because while I look at a lot of aspects of Billy Napier's tenure, I think the biggest miss was still probably the fact that they weren't really capable of adjusting to becoming a high-octane unit. You know what I mean? I think that is what ultimately got Billy Napier, is that he kind of played it close to the vest. He wanted to play complementary football. And at Florida, they want something to be just a touch more high-flying. And while maybe that could have been beneficial to him, that's kind of what ultimately I think did him in from an offensive identity standpoint.
Some people would even say that Brian Kelly got fired because he wouldn't fire his offensive coordinator. He's not even calling the plays. So, again, I'm not saying there are no more of those out there, and it's never happened before, but I also don't think we're going to get through a long list of guys that people viewed should have turned over play calling to someone else and then all of a sudden wouldn't do it, and that's one of the reasons they were gone. Like, we're all going to point to Dan Mullen not recruiting at Florida as to why he got fired.
Yeah.
But there were some people that said maybe you need to bring in a guy to run the offense. I don't ever think offensive play calling was their problem.
No.
I mean,
They're putting up 40 a game.
they were moving the ball. I mean, so I don't think that was a massive issue. I just doesn't seem to be something that regularly takes place. However, if it did, would you view that as just an easy fix?
I think we're too deep into the season now. It's kind of
I'm just talking moving forward.
oh well.
No, it's
Not this year.
Fix.
It's not going to fix it. Yeah, no.
It's not an easy fix, but if you have good players, how hard is it to incorporate an offense that is relatively efficient? And I think we can talk about identities, philosophies, all this sort of stuff. Do you have guys or not? That, I think, that remains the question. What are your guys capable of? Can they process? Can your quarterback play at a high level? Can he play efficiently? Can he make good decisions? Can he make split-second decisions? These are all aspects that I think have to be weighed into the decision. Does it start with the personnel or the plays? So I am always going to be of the belief that as good as the offensive coordinator is, if you put Cole and me out there right now at 37 and 40 years old, I don't think we're going to be very good, just being honest. But we could have Steve Sarkisian, who universally is considered one of the best play callers in the world. Universally, we're probably not going to be able to operate at a very high level. Nobody has ever doubted Mike Norvell's ability to game plan an offense. Correct? We're on the same page there?
No, I haven't, at least. I don't know if other people have or not.
I haven't. I think that guy can go. I think from an offensive game planning standpoint, off the charts. But you know what's been not great the last couple of years, or not consistent the last couple of years? Their personnel. And when Roydell Williams is your number one back and Malik Benson was your number one wide receiver last year, I could have probably told you that was going to be a tough putt. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean they can't play. It just means that they're going to not be. You had Keon Coleman as your number 1 wide receiver. And you had Jordan Travis, who could make something out of nothing at quarterback. I don't think anyone's going to confuse DJ Uiagalelei for Jordan Travis from a mobility standpoint when the offensive line's been a liability for a very long time. So I don't know. I think it's always players over plays. And the good news with Auburn is I think they have players. They just got to get quarterback right. And if they can get quarterback right, then all can be looking up here in the future, which is why I would not make any adjustments right now because I see guys open. If guys weren't open, I'd have problems. But guys are open, and they're not hit. That's where I have problems.
Tweeting into the show, Lance Barton, Marcus Arroyo calls play for Arizona State, not Dillingham, ? But I don't think Dillingham started out calling plays and gave it up, correct? Wasn't Marcus Arroyo his play caller when they started there? So my reference point, and I might be wrong there, but I thought Marcus started from when Dillingham took over. My point would be guys that have been doing it as the head coach, and then there was pressure from the public, the administration, the boosters, whoever said, hey, you got to give this play calling up. There have not been a lot of offensive-minded guys that have said, you know what, you're right. Let's get a new guy in here to run the offense here. Because then everyone starts asking the question, why are you here?
Right.
Unless you're just a proven coach that has national championships and conference championships. That's what people started asking with Gus towards the end of his run at Auburn. Well, if you're going to fire him as the OC and you don't want him calling plays, like, why should he be there?
Yeah.
Which is why I said he should never give up play calling. It's your best asset. Mm-hmm. Figure out other guys to do the other stuff. You keep doing what you do best. So, I mean, it all depends on where your value is on your football team. Hugh Freeze might believe that his best value is calling plays, even if it's on particular downs. We don't know.
Would you disagree with him?
I think his biggest asset is a recruiter, number 1, and then as a play caller, number 2. And that's nothing against his play calling. It's just I think, look at the talent he's been able to bring in through the portal and through traditional high school recruiting. It's been a lot better than a lot of other guys in front of him. So I might put that skill ahead of the play calling because I think it's pretty good. We'll give you some other added value right here on Jock. Introduce you to our friend and wealth advisor, Tad Hill, your trusted retirement planning partner. Tad's the co-host of Retire with Freedom radio and TV shows in Birmingham and Huntsville. Also designated by Forbes as the #1 financial security professional in the state of Alabama, multiple years running. Tad, what do you have for us today?
What I'd like to talk about today are 2 very specific retirement planning challenges that most people are going to have these days. And that is, when do you take Social Security? When is the right time for you to do it, your spouse to do it? And also, do you have a pension decision to make? Now, not everybody has a pension decision to make, but if you do, and you're trying to decide, do I take the annuity? Do I take the lump sum? If I'm going to take the annuity, do I do 100% spousal, 50, 0%? And then just the whole decision around how do I make sure that these sources of income are augmenting my retirement the way I need them to. And then we've got to figure out how to take your savings and turn that into the income that you need to add to those other sources. We can help you figure these things out. I would encourage you to come to a course or come in for a visit. The way to do that is to text JOCKS at 205-988-0006. That's 205-988-0006.
This is a paid placement. Investment advisory services are made available through AE Wealth Management. For more information about Forbes rankings, visit Forbes.com.
Jocks Traffic from the Train Traffic Center, the most trusted name in HVAC.
8:53 Thursday, October 30th, right here on Jocks. Every week, we're going to pick a certain upset, G-Mac.
Yeah, we are. That's thanks to our friends at Sanderson Farms, our weekly upset. They are the official chicken of the SEC. Go and check them out at Sanderson Farms. They are going to be, because they are the official chicken of the SEC, they're going to be giving away tickets to this year's SEC football championship game in Atlanta. Prize includes airfare, hotel, swag. Just follow Sanderson Farms and tag a friend. The winner will be announced here in the next couple weeks. Cole, where are you going this week, my friend?
Upset pick for the week. I'm going to take the Cal Bears at home at 5-3 against 7-1 West Virginia, or excuse me, not West Virginia, just Virginia,
Regular.
just plain old Virginia,
Just Virginia,
Central Virginia.
East Coast Virginia. What's they're both there, so
yes,
count
the
either.
Commonwealth.
Virginia minus 4.5 in this game. Obviously, quarterback play is going to be good on both sides. I just think making that trip for UVA, I'll give you credit. You were right about the North Carolina game last week. That was closer than the experts thought. Heels had their chances, couldn't get it done. But I think after playing back to back competitive football games and then having to make this road trip, a little bit too much for Virginia. Cal gets the win.
It's asking for a lot. That one is absolutely on the table for me. I'm with you. I like that pick a lot. I'm not sure there's a better one on the table. So since you took that one, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to say the Florida Gators get the win over the Georgia Bulldogs. I think they got it. I think this Florida team's going to open things up. And I think Georgia's got more holes than I realize. I think Florida will hold up along the offensive line. I think Florida will hold up along the defensive line. I think they can win some matchups on the outside. Give me the Gators.
I'm going the Mississippi State Bulldogs over the Arkansas Razorbacks. They're going to get them one. They've been close, and I think that last week they let one get away against Texas. Give me Mississippi State.
If y'all just going to leave it, I'll take Vandy. I know Texas is 2.5-point favorite, but
yeah.
I'll take
a good
it.
One.
Jeez.
Can I ask a real question here? How on God's green earth is Arkansas a 4.5-point favorite in this game?
Hey, I'm asking the same thing.
I mean, I know you're at home.
I think I'm a little worried about fatigue for Mississippi State. I'm not going to lie.
Not Arkansas, though? They're fresh
The
as a daisy out there just
they're
running
not allowed
around.
to get tired.
They tired.
They're not allowed to get tired.
You don't get tired at home.